A tale of two candidates. Trump versus Biden. Let's be clear. This is an election cycle that's going to happen. I said it before. Trump is the anti-Civil War candidate at this point. I'm so glad that this incident didn't get out of hand. I'm so glad that everyone is safe. Now, these politicians may not give a damn about me, but I got to tell you, I care more about the nation and people more than I care about the politicians. And to anyone, listen, Biden or Trump, it doesn't matter who sits on the throne. Goldman Sachs, Wall Street, the big banks, the corporations, BlackRock, Vanguard, all of them are going to have the final say. This shouldn't have you lose your ability to think critically. You shouldn't. But this is a tale of two candidates. And I'm going to say this as well. Before Saturday, it was, in my opinion, that the Democrats were going to try and replace Biden. Now, all I have to say is what Democrat in their right mind would want to take on Trump after, well, what took place Saturday. I think Biden is going to get the nomination because no one is going to want to face Trump. It'll be a political destruction for their career. And perhaps the Democrats have chosen to sacrifice Biden at this point and have come to terms that they've lost. The reason why I say this is because I put together this little photo. It's a tale of two candidates. Thank you, Time Magazine, for giving me this iconic thing. And I put this together on the Hard Lens Media Twitter account. This right here, Time Magazine, was when Biden failed miserably during a debate. And this, of course, came out Saturday. The $1 billion photo. There's panic amongst Democrats. Meanwhile, there's a rise of support for Trump. Now, let's come to terms with this. I can't see a pathway for victory for Biden or the Democrats. Now, before any liberal says, well, you just got to tell your audience to vote harder, tell your audience to show up. No, I'm not going to tell my audience to do a damn thing. Everyone that's watching, whether you watch this live stream or watch the clips of this show, vote however which way you feel like on election night. Vote third party, vote independent. If you're going to vote for Trump or Biden, that's on you. And if you're not going to vote at all, that's on you too. That's fine. Do whatever you feel is necessary to keep you sane. Because no matter what, if you choose not to vote or if you do choose to vote, that's it. Then everything else is inconsequential. You move on with the rest of your day. And I made it very clear how I'm going to do or live out my rest of my day for election night. I'm going to give myself a nice ribeye steak and eat a delicious meal. A nice glass of wine, shot of whiskey, and enjoy myself. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. I cast my vote, and then tomorrow, whoever is president, will be a brand new day. But I cannot control an uncontrollable situation. But Democrats are in full-blown panic. Let's play this video here.
So when you say decide together the best path to go forward, you are not completely closing the door on the conversation about a change at the very top of the Democratic ticket.
Well, ultimately, that is the president's decision. We can voice opinions, and I don't make decisions without full information, and I don't yet have that full information.
He's made his opinion very clear that he's not going anywhere.
Well, again, I cannot speak for the president. All I can say is what I believe in the concerns that I have, and I've been very clear about those concerns because that is my duty to Colorado. That is my duty to my constituents and to my country. That is my oath. My duty is to make sure that we can address the challenges before us and we can win this campaign.
But you are, to be clear, still concerned that Joe Biden is on a losing path.
I do believe right now, unless there's a major change, that there is a high risk that we lose this election. You know, that group of Democrats on that call, again, we were the majority makers in 2018, and we will be those that will help us lead to the majority again this fall. We know how to fight and we know how to win these tough elections. And reading the tea leaves is very troubling for many of us right now. So we want to see a change. And that's what the questions that we're asking are about.
Now, he's not wrong, but there's a lot of people in a huge state of denial. Case in point, because this whole election is going to be a slaughter for the Democrats. Trump has his pathway to the White House after his infamous mugshot and after his performance in the debate and after that $1 billion photo of his life nearly being taken away from him. You cannot look me in the eye or in the face or anywhere else and say, hey, Biden's got a pathway to victory, because he doesn't. He doesn't. But many people are in their own reality. People who we thought were serious were not. And so to you Democrats or liberals who are somehow convinced that old man Biden can still stand up against Trump, I'm going to give you my favorite Logan Roy quote. I love you, but you are not serious people. Case in point, AOC. AOC. If you're a senior Democrat that feels this way, you should absolutely retire and make space for true leadership that refuses to resign themselves to fascism. This is just right after she said, violence isn't acceptable in the political sphere. This kind of leadership is functionally useless to the American people, just like the Democrats, because, right here, Trump rally shooting upends Democrats' Biden's crisis. That's right. Because here, congressional Democrats, all consuming angst over President Biden's candidacy, has taken an abrupt backseat in lawmakers' minds in the wake of the assassination attempt against former President Trump. Why it matters? Democrat lawmakers say their immediate focus is on their personal security and that of their staffs, not their party's political woes, helping allow a crucial cool-down period for the embattled president. We're all just focused on expressing condolences and keeping our team safe, said one House Democrat, because the Democrats are like rats. They're going to look after themselves. Right, who have been fiercely critical of Biden. A senior House Democrat suggested the post-shooting atmosphere in the party is too chaotic for internal battles over leadership. You know what that means right there? At first, the Democrats were hopping, hoping, skipping, singing of maybe somebody replace Biden. After what happened in Pennsylvania, who wants to ruin their political career and the momentum and the juggernaut that is the Trump campaign? If you're telling me that Trump and his campaign didn't get a huge overhaul of donations, pour yourself a cup of tea and drink, all right? State of play, Biden was engaged in high-stakes outreach campaign to Capitol Hill in hours leading up to the shooting at Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, which left a bystander and shooter dead. As part of the effort to stop a flow of statements urging him to end his re-election bid, Biden met Saturday afternoon with Congressional Progressive Caucus and the center-left New Democrat coalition. So in other words, everybody is falling in line for Biden. The Democrats were never going to be fighters. I mean, anybody who thought that the Democrats would fight, I mean, seriously, grow up. They're not going to do it. Because, hey, on the 13th, July 13th, that was, oh my goodness, that was a Saturday. Bernie Sanders wrote an op-ed for the New York Times. Enough. Senator Bernie Sanders is calling on Democrats to end the circular firing squad after 2 weeks of a public debate over whether President Biden should continue his presidential campaign after the disastrous June 27th debate performance. You know what this is? Even Bernie got the Bernie. The atmosphere and temperature has changed. Write an op-ed to tell Democrats to fall in line for Biden. It's over. They'll be in the next year, 2028. Enough. Mr. Biden may not be the ideal candidate, but he will be the candidate and should be the candidate, says Bernie the Cuck Sanders, you nutless, heartless, soulless bastard. So many people gave so much money to you. Oh, Bernie. There's one thing I have to carry for the rest of my life is actually saying good things about you, you jag-off bastard. Jimmy Dore called you out. And with an effective campaign that speaks to the needs of working families, he will not only defeat Mr. Trump, but beat him badly. It's time for Democrats to stop bickering and nitpicking, Sanders wrote in a New York Times op-ed on Saturday. Sanders has stood by the president, even as many Democrats, including 19 congressional Democrats, have called on him to stand down after the June 27th debate. During the debate, Biden stumbled over his words, sounded raspy, setting off a conversation within the party about replacing him. Since the debate, Sanders has repeatedly pointed to Biden's accomplishments in office. What accomplishments? The kids are still in cages. We have an huge recession. Hey, folks, here's a Coca-Cola classic question from Hard Lens Media. How's the economy treating you? Type 1 for, it's just fine, kid. Full tank of gas, 3 meals a day, vacation. I'm living my best life. Type 2, Jesus Christ, not that question. You know it's tough. You know it's rough, man. Come on, please. No more. It hurts to write 2 for this one, to type 2 for this one. I wonder how many 2s will be in the chat. How is the economy treating you? Yes, I know Biden is old, is prone to gas. Oh, geez, Bernie, you're not helping him. Walks stiffly and has a disastrous debate with Mr. Trump. And he also craps his pants. And he gets confused what year it is. But this, I also know. A presidential election is not an entertainment contest. Oh, yes, it is. This election cycle, Bernie, you nutless cuck, is an entertainment. This is entertainment. This is entertainment. It does not begin or end with a 90-minute debate. Oh, yes, it does. Biden has worked to address concerns that he's too old to be president, acknowledging that he had a bad night. Yes, and he has all sorts of excuses. I had a cold. My zipper was undone. I was in 12 different time zones. I was fighting JFK in the future. Whatever. Well, hold on. Give it up for AOC again. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on Sunday sharply criticized an anonymous senior Democrat who was quoted saying the party was resigned to another 4 years under former President Trump. Well, yeah, I mean, that's a rational thing, AOC. It's rational for it. Listen, if you're in Washington, D.C. right now and you're part of the Democratic Party, if you're part of the DNC, after everything that took place on Saturday and the momentum that's following Trump, yes, it is 100% certain to be like, okay, it's over, because it is over. There is no possible pathway for Biden to defeat Donald Trump. It's not going to happen, liberals. It's not going to happen, vote blue, no matter who. And before anyone else says, well, gee, kid, you're just gassing up Trump, aren't you? Well, you know what? I'm not. I can have my disagreements with Trump, but my job here is to give analysis and commentary to what's happening. Trump kept his political movement together, and Democrats, Bill and Hillary Clinton, encouraged Trump to win. Hell, they were friends with him. They're all friends with each other. Corporate media gave Trump free press. It's not my fault that Trump became this Frankenstein monster. The institutions that you trust, liberals, made him. Gee, AOC, can you read the room? She cannot. She goes on to say, if you're a senior Democrat that feels that way, you should absolutely retire and make space for true leadership. This kind of leadership is functionally useless to the American people. Yes, because we got to be afraid of fascism, even though we have a corporate oligarchy running us. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, also known as AOC, was responding to reporting from Axios about our shift among Democrats who say they are focusing more now on their staff's personal safety rather than on President Biden standing as the party's presidential nominee. Yes, everyone, it is correct. That is not wrong. Everyone is correct in their assessment. Because let's face it, Biden, as the nominee, as the president of these United States, is acting like a clown. And here's so much clownish behavior. First of all, you know, like how I call citizen ballot initiatives battle initiatives. And I want to give a huge shout out to Roger Meadows for bringing that up. You know, it's a fun way to make sure all states are citizen battle initiatives. Biden calls it battle box. Now, hold on. I don't know if Biden's a secret fan of hard lens media, but here's his response with the aftermath of what happened to Donald Trump. Hey, AOC and Bernie, is this your old dog?
I'm asking every American to recommit, to make America. We cannot, we must not go down.
Apologies for that. There was a little mistake there.
We cannot, we must not go down this road in America. We've traveled before throughout our history. Violence has never been the answer. Whether it's with members of Congress of both parties being targeted and shot, or a violent mob attacking the Capitol on January 6th, or brutal attack on the spouse of former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, or information and intimidation on election officials, or the kidnapping plot against the sitting governor, or an attempted assassination on Donald Trump. There is no place in America for this kind of violence, for any violence ever. Period. No exceptions. We can't allow this violence to be normalized.
And yet Biden and corporate media and the Democrats helped encourage that. You know, I do hope that someday people look at Joe Biden for what he truly is. And yes, Mr. Day in the Park, Biden is a Republican. When will people get that? See, the whole things, all those things that Biden brought up, all this environment of fear, the Democrats helped promote it. It's easy to vilify Donald Trump because that's what the Democrats ran on. Hating Trump, causing the fear of fascism in America. The reason why Biden and Democrats are going to lose is because they never have follow through. They're not consistent. The reason why many Democratic leaders and politicians are resigning to another 4 years of Trump is because they literally crap the bed. They've been doing it continuously. It's sloppy, it's nasty, it stinks, there's flies and maggots all over the place. Because the Democrats never fought for us. They never fought for Medicare for all or student debt forgiveness. They never fought for a better future or investing into the American people. What they ran on was fear. And I'm pretty sure all of you got the emails. All of you probably got the phone calls or the text messages. If we don't vote for Biden, a woman's going to lose her right to choose. Can you give us $5? If we don't vote Democrats or Biden, we're not going to get Medicare for all. If we don't vote for Biden or the Democrats, we're not going to get student debt forgiveness. You all got the emails. But the question we must ask ourselves is, where's the follow through? What accomplishments do you really have? So Bernie Sanders and AOC and anyone else who's part of the Congressional Progressive Caucus can, hype up and build up Biden's ego, but he's a narcissist. And he's never really accomplished anything, not during his 4 years. So yes, Trump very well is going to win this election cycle. And it's bound to happen. And do I think Biden is going to secure the nomination in the DNC? Absolutely. But not because of out of party loyalty or because he's strong enough to beat Biden. It's because no Democrat with any functioning brain, I know I said two things that should not go together, Democrat and functioning brain, would want to risk their potential future career facing off against Donald Trump now. It's going to probably be a landslide victory. Those who are not going to vote, or maybe Trump adjacent and choosing not to vote, are going to turn out to vote. There's going to be a massive influx of voter turnout, especially after what happened on Saturday. And Trump very well will become the next president. But it's not his fault or anyone else's fault. It's corporate media and the Democrats. People like Bernie, AOC, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Elizabeth Warren, all the Democratic governors, U.S. senators, and House representatives, all of whom are doing insider trading, by the way. Especially check out Unusual Whales. You'll find out what your favorite politician is doing on the side. They're all playing their game. It's one big club, and you're not in it. You never will be, and trust me, you don't want to be part of it. Trump will secure his election. Anything else differently, then question how the results turned out. The Democrats made this. And yes, folks, Hardlands Media will be covering the DNC convention here in Chicago, August 19th through the 22nd. And it's very clear to me that'll be a lackluster, mediocre event. They're going to rush this thing through. There's been talks about half of it being online. There's a lot of security surrounding it, but independent media is going to show up to cover this historic event. So please be sure to support and follow Hardlands Media because we will be covering it. But remember, the Democrats did this to themselves. And I'll end this with what I posted earlier on Twitter. A tale of two candidates. These are two different covers from Time Magazine. One from last month and the other one from Saturday. It's very clear. Trump is going to win. And liberals and Democrats, please behave yourselves on election night. I'll be laughing at you. But please be reasonable. Try not to have too much of a temper tantrum.